Welcome again to discuss about the food related diseases. If you take more food than the normal, that will become a poison. That is the main discussion about these food related diseases. Etiology means starting point of obesity, underweight, hypertension, diabetes mellitus, that is called the sugar disease, and atherosclerosis, nothing but heart attack. These all the diseases are comes from the imbalance of food material. That's why it is also called as a food related diseases. In this, number one position is accumulated by the obesity. This obesity is nothing but high weight. If we have more than normal weight, that is called the high weight. Obesity is the main problem today. um, in our society many people are suffering with this obesity. What are the causes for this obesity is there are multiple reasons for this obesity, because we do not blame them because that is inherited from their parents, genetical. Sometimes it may be caused by environmental and social factors. Lastly, that is food material. It involves imbalanced food material, calorie intake. If we will take more amount of food material than we require, then that may leads to obesity. But high calorie diet, processed food material, for example junk food material, sugary drinks, especially the school drinks which are available in the market, should not be taken actually. But those are mixed with high sugar molecules. That may leads to uh, obesity. And another important thing is sedentary lifestyle. Normally those people who are in the software and other fields, who are working with the computers continuously for hours and hours together, they may suffer with this obesity disease, because that life. Okay, however this lifestyle should be changed. They not only working before the computer, they have to go to the ground to play some games, and they have to do exercises regularly. Walking and yoga and meditation, everything should be followed, because the sedentary life is very dangerous. See how the farmers and workers who are working in the fields are very healthy. They do not suffer with this any obesity and any other atherosclerosis, hypertension, diabetes mellitus, and some other diseases. They are not suffering because always they are moving their body just like electrons. Actively they are moving their body. But those people who are sitting before the computer are suffering with this obesity, because uh, they are keeping their body just like neutrons. They do not move from they do not move. But we should not be like that. We have to be electrons. We have to move our body continuously. If not, that may leads to obesity. So genetic problems are also there. The parents are also cause a reason for this obesity problems. Sometimes the endocrine gland secretions, improper secretion of endocrine glands are also leads to endocrine disorders. Certain medications, sometimes some people are suffering with some dangerous disease. They consume some medicines. Due to those medicines, they increases their body weight, and that leads to obesity. The symptoms we know already. Breathing, everything is problematic. The body weight is very high. They do not sit for long time. They do not stand for long time. They do not walk for long time. The shortness of, they do not breathe properly. They joint pains, bones problems, and very problems are there. Heart diseases, stroke, diabetes, and many dangerous diseases are also may attack to this obesity people. But luckily, if they follow, if they change their lifetime with yoga, exercise, games, and walking, uh, they too live very healthy. So the dietary management is very important. They should restrict the calorie food material. They should take the balanced diet which is containing the proteins. Proteins are very important to run the metabolic activities, but not the calories. regular meals. The irregular meals should be avoided, especially nowadays the youth who are working in different fields are not taking food material in proper manner or in time. uh, they are mm, irregular in taking the meals. That is very dangerous and leads to obesity. Hydration, drink sufficient amount of water is very important, and limiting processed food materials means junk food should be avoided, especially now the youth uh, especially suffering with this obesity are caused by this junk food, consumption of junk food. And some of the behavioral changes are also may leads to obesity problems. Another important problem is some people are very lean, too less body weight, too less body mass. They frequently attacked by some other microorganisms diseases, and also deficiency, food deficiency diseases, and microorganisms diseases also. Now, normally, uh, frequently they suffer with fever, frequently they suffer with cold and some other diseases, especially because the immune system is not developed in their body in proper manner, because there is no proper tissue or cells development. That's why they have to, what they have to do, dietary management is the only source to them. Increased calorie intake, they have to eat sufficient amount of food which contain carbohydrates, proteins, minerals, lipids and vitamins also. That is called the balanced diet. They have to maintain the balance. In one word, if you want to say, if you want to give advice to these underweight persons, they have to maintain balanced diet before going to the ground for exercise. Frequent meals, they have to need not to eat huge amount of food material at a time once. Instead of that, they have to take frequent meals. Healthy snacks, fruits and vegetables they have to take instead of junk food material. uh, and medical advice is also can be the solution for these people who are underweight. And hypertension, we have already discussed about this high blood pressure due to the lifestyle. Nowadays many adults and youth are suffering with this hypertension disease. Bad luck is 20 years and 30 years youth is also suffering with hypertension or high bp, running to the hospital to check the bp. Then of course improper diet or not consuming the balanced diet. And then one is consumption of junk food material, and they do not take the food material in time. These are the main causes for this hypertension. The research is explored the truths, and the symptoms are this is actually called as the silent killer, because inside it can causes a lot of damage inside our body, that can damage the brain cells, kidney cells, liver cells and heart cells and some other cells. uh, and the only source is dash diet. Dash diet means dietary approach to stop hypertension. Dash is the solution for to stop the hypertension. Consume the fruits, vegetables, food grains, especially the soaked seeds, lean protein and low fat diet or dairy. Sodium restriction, in especially junk food they use lot of sodium or salt, which can increases the hypertension. Potassium rich foods have to be taken, limiting alcohol consumption and maintaining healthy weight. Go to the ground to play the games, not in the cell phones or tabs or iPads. You should not play any games in the rooms, in the cell phones. If you use the cell phones to play the games, you may be suffer with this hypertension. If you go to the ground, no hypertension will come to you, no diabetes mellitus will come to you if you play in the playground. The diabetes mellitus, already we discussed about this sugar disease. Commonly the bad luck is many youth is also suffering with this diabetes mellitus. This is actually caused by the improper functioning of pancreas, endocrine gland present in our body, that do not secrete sufficient amount of insulin. The insulin hormone is very important in our blood, that can maintain the glucose balance in our body, that can transport the glucose to the liver, that can transport the glucose to body cells to produce the energy. Due to the deficiency of insulin, then what is happening, the sugar balance is not maintaining in our blood in proper manner. That's why the people are suffering with this diabetes mellitus or sugar disease. However, this type 1 disease is inherited from the parents. There is no more discussion about it. But type 2 diabetes is called the diabetes mellitus. That is called the sugar disease. That is achieved by one for his own. Diabetes 2 is caused by excess amount of food material, obesity, family background, and sedentary lifestyle. There are many reasons are there. Instead of discussing about the symptoms, what we have to do to prevent this disease is important. That is dietary control, taking balanced diet, then regular meals to avoid the irregularity. Then fiber rich food is very important. That is cellulose rich food or fiber rich food. If you go to the hospital, doctors will advise to take the fiber rich food, especially for the sugar patients, for the proper digestion and proper utilization of glucose in the body. And healthy fats have to be taken, not to eat junk food material, unnecessary fats. And exercise, walking, jogging, gym, playing games in the ground, and meditation. These all avoiding stress. These all are the good preventive steps to stop the sugar disease. Another important one to be discussed nowadays, because in this public health and hygiene, these main problems are discussed by the authors. Atherosclerosis or heart attack, mainly this is caused by the accumulation of fat in the blood vessels, especially those supplies the blood to the heart walls. But what are the causes for the accumulation of cholesterol or fats in the blood vessels supplies blood to the heart walls is intake is more but expenditure is less. If you eat food material, you have to spend it immediately. If you want to spend it immediately, you have to go to the ground, you have to do some work. If you can go to the garden and you can grow the plants, you can do some work in the agriculture, you can garden, you can go for the garden work, you can go for the playing, you can go for the walking, and some other hard work or physical work you have to do to avoid this type of accumulation of fats in the body. Sometimes the pollution and some other environmental factors are also cause these heart attacks. So we have to maintain proper diet. Good fats have to be taken. High density fats have to be taken, but not LDL. Low density fats should not be consumed. Especially you should not use the junk food, because they are containing very high concentrated, high fat content food material in them to cause the tasty, but tasty is always dangerous. That's why if you want to avoid the atherosclerosis, heart attack, and diabetes mellitus, sugar disease, hypertension or high BP, underweight, and obesity, these all are related with the food related diseases. That's why you have to maintain balanced diet. Good luck.